Welcome back. We're here at Politics and Black Families, and we have the wonderful, wonderful Brandi Reeves sitting with us right now. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm from Atlanta, and so Patchwork Studios is like where all the hits are made. So I feel like I'm rubbing along. I feel like, okay. I feel like I'm like, when? I'm in here today.
There you go. So, this is the world famous Patchwork Recording Studios, where the hits are made, classics are made, history is made.
Absolutely.
So we have you here because you're running for Fulton County Superior Judge.
Fulton County Superior Court Judge.
Superior Court Judge. I see your signs around. I see you online. I see you being active. I see the support. Everybody saying Brandi this. So now you're here. So, okay. So listen. So we're here. Let's get right into it, right? How important are local elections for you?
For me, I feel like local elections are just as important, if not even more important than national elections, right?
Yeah.
Local elections affect you tomorrow. If I win on May 21st, the first day I take office on January 1, I'll determine whether or not a father gets rights of his children.
Indeed.
It doesn't go through Congress. It doesn't go through the House or the Senate. I immediately get to make that decision.
Yeah.
I immediately get to decide whether or not you're getting a bond or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That happens like immediately. I don't have to ask anybody for permission.
Yeah.
City council immediately determines whether or not you're going to be criminalized for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, right?
Yeah.
Those things affect you today.
Right.
As opposed to
every day.
Every day. Very quickly.
You can't escape it.
You cannot escape it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think
because he was smoking a joint and Ralph got in trouble when I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Go ahead. That was a joke, guys.
But that goes to show you that those things are extremely important, right? When you're voting for the president, you're voting for whether or not your loans will be wiped away, right? You're voting for whether or not you're going to get a tax increase. Those things take time to trickle down, at least 2 years, maybe 3, right? But local elections, it happens, the process for passing laws and passing ordinances happen much quicker, and so they affect your lives much more immediately than does national elections. So I think they're vitally important for people to get out and vote for local elections, for sure.
You know what I find so interesting is like when it comes to like judges all the time, it's almost like people aren't aware that they have an opportunity to vote for the person that that's in the community that has that authority that they can talk to. So I have 2 questions for you. 1, what led you to running, and 2, how do you get more young folks or just people involved around the election for like Superior Court Judge?
People have no idea how judges end up on the bench, right? And in Georgia, there are 2 ways that judges can end up on the bench. You can be appointed by the governor, or you can be elected, right? Now, even if you are appointed by the governor, at some point you must run, because constitutionally, judgeships are elections, right? Must be done by elections. However, if a term for a judge is 4 years, let's start there. And so if you leave before your term is over, the governor gets to appoint someone to finish out your term. Yeah. And then you must run in the next election to ensure that the people are voting for you. But what happens oftentimes is that because there's someone already sitting in that seat, people don't have enough courage to run against an incumbent. Yeah. Well, I'm not that person, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, okay.
I'm running against an incumbent, okay? Because I feel like as a citizen, period, if you feel like you have something to offer the community, you feel like you can do a better job, then we have an obligation and responsibility to step up to the plate. And so here I am, stepping up to the plate, being the change I wish to see in the world.
Indeed. Salute. We're glad that you are deciding to go ahead and join the race. Well, what's the requirements?
So, basic. Be a lawyer.
Basic,
in good standing.
Basic. Just be a lawyer and you can be a judge and
Be a lawyer in good standing. Honestly, Superior Court judges have jurisdiction of domestic cases, so you're talking divorces, child support, child custody. They have custody over civil matters, right? You're talking about dissolutions of businesses. You're talking about real estate disputes, right? And they have custody over jurisdiction over what most people think of as judges is the criminal process, felonies. Any charges that carry over 12 months in custody up to life is in the jurisdiction of the Superior Court. Yeah. And so when you ask me, how do I get young people involved and how do I get people who are not necessarily engaged in the process, it's by putting it at their doorstep, right? Yeah. When I see fathers out in public, they're like, what you gonna do for me? I was like, I see you have time with your children. You have your child with you right now. That's something that I have responsibility for. Yeah. It's important that you vote for individuals whose thought processes are aligned with yours.
Indeed.
I was
Indeed.
raised by a single father. I
Indeed.
understand the importance of having a father
Indeed.
engaged in the parenting process,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I was a public defender for over a decade,
Yeah.
representing both parents in juvenile custody whose children were removed by defects based upon abuse and neglect allegations, as well as standing shoulder to shoulder with my clients in superior court charged with major felonies, rapes, murders, child molestations, and ensuring that the Constitution, the laws of the Constitution were upheld, the tenets of the Constitution, and that they weren't being railroaded. And so you have to understand that when you're voting for someone, or when you don't vote for someone, you're not sure who's going to be on the bench.
Indeed.
You're not sure what experience they have. You don't. You're not.
You don't
sure.
know the mentality, what they ran on, or was it lock them up, or was it understand and bring transparency to the situation?
You have no idea.
Indeed.
And so I think that what people don't understand is that regardless of where you are, regardless if your son or your daughter ever comes before me in a criminal case, you might need me if you got kids, or if your friend has a child and they're going through a tumultuous custody situation. Somebody at some point is gonna need a judge to step in.
Indeed. Okay, so let's soften it up a little bit, right?
Okay.
What does a judge play in the morning to get her vibe right before you go, or a lawyer? What's the vibe like for you?
I want y'all to think I'm regal.
Yeah.
Now, okay.
Yeah.
But seriously, I like gospel. So I'll tell you, I have a 11-year-old.
So you ain't no Sexy Red playing, ain't none of that playing?
No, I ain't saying I don't ever. My kids know all the lyrics because my husband's car is a little different, than my car.
Yeah.
But some days I do listen to it. Like, I like it, but in the morning time, look, we need to chill. Like, everybody relax. But I will say, when I was going to trial, Mr. Big is my trial song.
Okay,
I got you. I don't want to tell y'all the lyrics, but we're taking it to trial.
Yeah, I got you.
You
I got
understand what I'm
you.
saying? You need some hype music. When it's time.
Hold on, the judge hear what you just said? Clap it up for Mr. Big going to trial one time.
We going to trial.
Clap it up. That's what I'm talking
Let's
about.
make it happen.
Yeah.
Now I ain't saying, get it sexy. Don't just come on sometimes, but
not before trial. I got you. So let me ask you, how do you balance the work-life balance, right? You're very busy and you're professionalized and you have a family, right? So how do you balance that? How do you delegate? How do you maneuver? How, like, black women are like everywhere right now. I swear y'all are like, I don't know, presidents, CEOs,
execs,
I mean, what's going? I'm all for it. So it's like, hey, don't forget about the little guy. But yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's not easy. I'll say that. But I have a wonderful support system. My husband's there. Today I'm like, I got an interview at 7. Can you pick up the kids? Okay, right. My family, again, I'm from Atlanta, so I have a lot of family here who understands what I'm trying to do. They understand my passion for the people. They understand that at times they have to share me, right? Because the community needs me. I see a need, and if that's the case, I'm going to go get it. And so long as I'm not in the street, doing things that are not productive and moving the community forward.
I couldn't picture a judge doing that, but I get you.
Then they're supportive, and they're like, where do you need us? Where do we need to step in? Where do kids need to be today? And so it has been very helpful to have that level of support in my circle.
I get you. Well, let me ask you this question. How do you feel about, like, transparency in the judicial system? Like, what is that? Like, you hear people use that term about, we want to bring transparency to the judicial system. Are they talking about case logs? Are they talking, like, for a person who's just looking at the information, what does that mean or represent?
It means several things, right? I think that it means that when someone brings something to your attention as the court, a defendant brings something to your attention that is concerning. Well, I believe my lawyer did X, Y, and Z. Then I believe there's an open dialogue to be had, right? The law says that courtrooms are to be open. And what that means is that anybody can walk in at any time and sit down in your courtroom. You can't kick them out. There's nothing that you can say to object to it. It's open because we want the court system to be transparent. We want you to see what we're doing. We want you to see that everyone is treated equally, even if they're not, right? But we want it to be open. I had a previous judge that I practiced in front of, and I had a client on camera who appeared to have marijuana planted, right? Crazy, I know. But immediately when I brought it to the judge's attention, she said, you, and you, everybody up. We're going to the sheriff's department. Took me back hallways that I had never seen before. And she called the sheriff in immediately. These are your people on camera. I want you to sit down right now, talk to us about it. We're playing the camera. And I think that's transparency, right?
Wow.
That
Hold on. Could you rewind that a little bit? Are y'all listening? Or y'all just missing? Say it one more time. Give me that story one more time. So they walked you back.
Judge said, "Thank you, Ms. Reeves, for bringing this to my attention. Madam DA, were you aware?" Right? ADA, Assistant District Attorney.
Yeah.
Were you aware? So Ms. Reeves showed me the video. And she said, "Okay, I want you, Ms. Reeves, and I want you, court reporter, up now. Let's go." Right? And immediately went to the sheriff's department where this gentleman was being held and held the sheriff responsible. Right? These are your people. Here's the camera footage. Let's dialogue about what's happening here. And then we're going to move forward to DA's office and figure out what the next steps are. Right? Yeah. And I think that that's transparency. Not like, oh, what? No, that didn't happen. Who said that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's the level of transparency that is needed. I think understanding why is there no bond hearing today for a mother who lost their child, wanting to know why are these hearings keep getting put off? Why have I not at least spoken to the judge about why the case was continued yet again? I think that's transparency. It is being able to speak to someone and say, hey, this is where we're going. This is why you will not be heard today, instead of putting people off and now they're just wandering throughout the judicial process.
Understood.
Just trying to find their way when most people have never had experience with the court system before.
Indeed. Thank you for answering that.
Absolutely.
Well done. How important is it for someone to advocate for themselves if they're in front of a judge? Is that something you leave to the lawyer, or do you need to be like, no, I need to speak to...
You need to be quiet. Okay. I promise, if you know me and I'm in court, my clients get ready to talk, I'm like, did I tell you to speak? Be quiet, right? Because I always say that if the other side has a lawyer, you need a lawyer too, right? I don't care how smart you are. I'll tell you that I am classically trained in the law, right? So there's some people who, are self-trained. That's great. You're self-taught. But there are some of us who learn how to... you can get out there and play football, or you can actually get a book and read it and figure out what plays mean. And, and so there's a difference. There absolutely is a difference. And if the other side has a lawyer, you need one too. And so especially when you're in a criminal case, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
How real is that?
Okay, real. Absolutely real, right?
Like real, like I was on a phone call, they overheard me say something, or like...
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you get in court and say, I did it, but the DA is like, Ms. Reeves just said he did it. You telling me he didn't do it. I'm like,
I got you.
Didn't I tell you to be quiet? Right. And so what I like to say is that, lawyers don't lie. Lawyers find the facts that work for them, right? Just like the DA. They're not going to give me, my clients are looking for grace. But I said, and the police didn't say this and didn't do that. They're not going to give you grace. My job is to poke holes in their case, just like their job is to poke holes in mine. And so if you're going to the other side looking for an extension of grace, that's not what this is. And so lean on your lawyer. Lean in. Whether or not it's a public defender or whether or not it's a paid attorney, they have a job to do. And they're trained to do that job. And so allow them to fight for you. I used to tell my clients, don't lie to me. Right? Don't worry about whether or not you did it or not. I don't care if you did it or not. Lie to your mama. What I need is the truth. And then I'm going to figure out how, how we're going to get you through it, whether or not the DA has the evidence for it. But one thing that really angers me or makes me upset is that when I get in court and then they hand me a picture and it's you and you told me you had on a red shirt and this shirt green.
What do you do then? Do you sell it as green?
You lied to me, right? And so again, I tell them, if you lie to me, I'm gonna lie to you, right? If you say, Ms. Reeves, am I going to prison? I'm gonna tell you no, because they don't have any evidence. You told me the shirt was red. I got evidence the shirt was green, But then when I get in the court and the evidence does not align with what you told me, well, now I've lied to you and told you there was a possibility you were going home when I could have been straight up with you, when I could have been very honest with you and said, hey, I don't think this case is gonna work out. Let's work on a plea. Let's try to figure out if you really want to go to trial, because I'm real. I'm gonna give it to you straight, no chaser. But if you do not have that same respect for me, then it's very difficult for me to be honest with you and give you the advice that you need to rest that night. So we can move forward.
Indeed. Well done. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna throw a few random shots at you, right? And then you're gonna say your spiel right here to the camera. Let them know why they should vote for Brandi Reeves come May 21st, right? Okay. May 21st. So first thing I want to ask you, are you hopeful, optimistic, pessimistic about the current state of politics in America?
I am Optimistic. I'm optimistic because we have young people such as myself that are motivated, that are courageous, that are no longer scared. The old regime is out, the new regime is in, and it's about pushing forward on your goals independent of what others think. And so I think that we have a new generation coming into politics. So I'm optimistic about it.
Okay, are you how do you feel about the violence and crime happening in Atlanta? Do you think it's a wave, or is something that was overlooked, mismanaged? Do you think it's something that could be addressed in the next, I don't know, 12 months to a year? Or do you think that's just being me caught up in the fear pushing of it all? Or do you know?
I think that's fair. I think that a lot of major metropolitan cities are similarly situated to as Atlanta. I don't think that Detroit or Chicago are having any better time with crime at the moment. Coming out of COVID, you're dealing with a lot of poverty. You're dealing with a lot of people who are out of work. And generally that drives up crime levels, right? Generally, you don't have anything to do. An idle mind is a devil's playground. Indeed. So there is a lot of inactivity. So it's like, what can I do? What can I do? And then you find out that, there's nothing but trouble outside, right? And so I think that it can be curtailed. Absolutely. We put things in place, recreation centers in place, and other items that education key. Other things in place that will absolutely drive down crime. I think that we have to pay more attention, have individuals in place in the sheriff's office and the City of Atlanta Police Department and all the other surrounding city police departments to ensure that supervision is being provided and that access to officers are readily available.
Yeah, great. And also let me know for the last question, then you go right to that camera. Why is Atlanta so damn great? Why do everybody want to come to the A? What's the culture? Why is it everywhere? What's happening with Atlanta? Why is it so beautiful? Tell me the secret. You from here.
Black excellence. Okay?
Louder.
It is bred. Okay? I went to Benjamin Elijah Mays High School Academy of Mathematics and Science. And so with that being said, it is bred into us. Excellence is not an option. It's the only option, right? Failure is not an option. Excellence is the only option. And so to see black excellence is not an anomaly. It's like everyone, doctors, lawyers, pediatricians, veterinarians, whatever you want to be, mechanics, the top carpenters, the top post office workers. I don't care what it is. We're going to shine and we're going to be the best at it. And so if you want to learn, you want to grow, you want to be accepted in whatever field it is, you are creative, you come to the A and we're going to accept you and we're going to ensure that you excel because we sit together like that.
Dude, clap that up one time, y'all. Clap that up. Real quick, we're going to go to our correspondent online because he has some questions for you. Brent, you listening?
I am. How are you doing today?
Hey, Brent.
So, I want to ask a question. I asked this question on my favorite question. To all the kids out there, emphasis on young black girls, what advice or motivation would you give them if they wanted to be a lawyer?
What advice would you give young black girls if they wanted to be a lawyer or get into, the lawyer field in that area? What advice would you give young black girls?
Do I still talk?
Yeah, talk to the camera.
Okay, keep pushing, right? My father went to law school. He majored in PE. Okay, and went to law school. So you don't have to go to college and decide you want to major in political science. You can get you a job in entrepreneurship. Not a job, but you can major in entrepreneurship. You can major in PE. You can major in art. You can major in whatever you want to. So you have that undergird that if you decide you don't want to go to law school, you still are doing what you're passionate about. And so you do that and then decide if you want to go to law school. And if so, great. Then you grow on that. But you do not have to have a particular major, a particular field of study at any point in college. And so you just keep pushing if that's what you want to do, but don't allow anyone to tell you that's what you have to do, because law school is commitment. And if it's not something you want to do, then you're wasting your time and your energy, and you're not going to be committed to it, and you're not going to make it through, and you're going to quit. When you could have been utilizing that time to put into your passion, if that's braiding hair, if that is being a creative, if that's starting your own nail business, your own hair business, whatever that is, you chase that passion. My motto is be you, and everybody around you will adjust.
Salute. Yeah, well done. Yeah, you got anything else, B?
No, I'm going to go ahead and talk that with you.
All right, perfect. So there you go.
Somebody on the live actually asked a question, which was, what are your thoughts regarding having more police on bikes?
What are your thoughts
I don't know
with
if
police
that's something-
being on bikes or patrolling on bikes?
I think that it's great. I think that it makes you more easily accessible. Now, obviously, that is going to be a very concentrated response. So if we're at Piedmont Park for an event, then they can get to that space maybe quicker, cut through crowds, but obviously they're not going to be able to travel 12 miles in an emergency situation. And so I do think we could have more bike officers, just like you have horseback officers, and you have motorcycle officers, because I think you need them in different types of situations. And so I think that we could use more, right? So that they can kind of be in a concentrated area so that they can be more responsive to situations in those times, for sure.
Indeed. Perfect. We good over there, Leah?
She said in particular at the West End Mall. What do you think about places like that? Like, should it be bike cops in these types of areas?
I think the West End Mall, that may be a concentrated area, so I think that is probably a prime example of, you have the West End train station, you have the West End Mall, you have the guys that hang out in front of Peaches of Atlanta, I think Queen City, I'm not sure, I'm old Atlanta, so I'm not sure what it is now, but so I think that they may be able to bite to individuals, and you can't hear sirens, right? And so you're more able to approach unannounced, so you may be able to deter some crime that way. So again, I support it. I don't think it is an issue. I don't think it's a problem. I think we need more officers, period, but the city of Atlanta doesn't pay enough, so you know, there's that part.
There we go. We good. So yes. Here we go. We're gonna wrap this up. Look at your camera. Let them know why to come out and vote May 21st for Brandi Reeves, and do your thing.
I am Brandi Reeves. I'm running for Fulton County Superior Court Judge, and you should vote for me because I'm experienced. I'm knowledgeable, I'm compassionate, I'm empathetic, and I have the tools that are necessary to move Fulton County forward in all areas of the law that Fulton County Superior Court has jurisdiction. I'm talking child custody, criminal felonies, civil cases. I have that experience as a public defender for over 10 years, as a court administrator for about 4 years. I know how to move cases. I know how to see through people. I know how to relate to people, and I believe that experience makes me better than my opponent in this race, but I cannot do it without you. So I need you all to tell 5 friends to go out and vote for me, Brandi Reeves, on May 21st. Early voting starts on Monday, April 29th, which is this Monday, and it goes through May 17th. I am Brandi Reeves, and I'm running for Fulton County Superior Court Judge, and I need your support.
Yeah, and there you go.
From Atlanta.
And I'm from Atlanta, a
from
native Atlantan. It's not a lot of us.
Yeah, indeed. So y'all know what it is. We're gonna wrap this up. We out. Peace.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Well,
I enjoyed it.
Great.
Thank you. Absolutely.